I'm Sharon Pearson from the Coaching Institute and TCI Evolve, and if you're watching this, I really trust you're getting excited and looking forward to the webinar that's coming up very, very shortly. I think it's just in a few days, I think it's only in a day. I think it's tomorrow, which is great. And I just want to introduce you where we are. I hope you're enjoying the tour of our headquarters, our campus. Right now we're in what we call, I think it's the photo room, yeah? And we've got photos of all our students and our different members from over the years wallpapered on our walls, just so when people come in they can find themselves on the wall, which is a cool thing to do. What I want to get to today is I want to prepare you for the webinar that's coming, and also not just do that, I want to give you some great content that even if you decide to never become a coach or become a coach sometime, this is going to be valuable for you in your relationships, in wherever you're working currently, what you're doing currently. I want to get to that, but before I get to that, I want to share with you some things about the industry that are behind the scenes, and perhaps I'm going to get in a little bit of trouble sharing this, but I think it's an important message. There are a lot of coaches. I was just on the phone to a colleague of mine in the United States, and his name's Mark, and he was sharing with me there are so many people in this industry over here in the States, because we obviously have students over in the States, and they're studying the coaching element, but they're not really studying the marketing or the business side of it. And so they're coming into running a coaching practice a little lopsided. So maybe they've got some skills as a coach, but nobody knows about them. So it remains a hobby. And because it remains a hobby, they never really build some really good skills, some really good moves when it comes to helping clients. And because they never develop that, they never really develop their competence or their confidence to help clients. And because of that, they never really do that well. And I said, well, how many people do you think that is? He said, I think it's probably the majority. Come into the industry with eyes wide open, passion and excitement. It's like, yes, I'm going to get to help people. And they're not doing, the dots haven't been joined for them, in that if you want to help people, which is awesome, and I assume why you're watching, you need to be able to help yourself first, which is know how to attract clients. And I understand why it's not talked about a lot. I do, I get that. I know we, as a result of this, probably discourage some people from joining us, because they come to us like this: I just want to help people. Really, if I could just help people all day, that would just be great. And my response to that is, well, that's great, and I love that you just want to help people, but who are you going to help? Who will be in front of you to help if no one knows what you do? People don't queue for the unknown store. People don't go online looking for the site they can never find. People don't buy a product they don't know exists, and it's the same in coaching. So I trust, maybe you're more advanced and you're from another school, you already know all this and you're doing it, and it's great, I'm so pleased. But I trust this is a good message for a number of you. You're hearing this going, oh, let's join the dots for me. Maybe I'm not ready for it yet, because I've not really got the maturity thinking needed to realize I need to marry my coaching desire, my desire to help people, which is great, with the business reality that unless I can find a way to make money from this, unless I can find a way to attract people to this, this will be a short-term thing, and I won't be able to go the distance. There's an email I've written for you, and I trust you get value from it. You've already got it, where I trained many years ago, over a decade ago, and in the room that I trained with, I was in a very traditional old school, and no one was taught the marketing side of it at all. And I can tell you now, in that room, I don't know that anybody is still coaching. Because whilst we got the coaching skills, it was not married up. The dots weren't joined around what was needed around the marketing skills and learning how to attract clients in a really cool way. So how could it sustain itself? They eventually had to pay for school fees. They eventually had to go on holidays. There was no business that had been built around this. So I trust this is a cool message. As I said, it's not a message that's talked about a lot in our industry, because I understand, because it puts people off having a go, and they think, well, I'm not going to bother because I don't want to learn about business. But if you're going to come to us and you're going to look at coaching, I want to set you up for success from day one, and not have you join and then find out later, oh, so I'm going to need to do business skills. I don't think that's going to be a cool way of us starting a relationship, if there is to be one. So I trust you think it's cool hearing this. I'd love to get your comments on below around that. So that's the first message I want to give you, that if you're coming along, when you come along to my webinar tomorrow, eyes wide open about the marketing that's required, the client attraction methods you're going to need. Because I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow, and it'd be great if you'd be cool about all three parts, which is building a model, having a framework around that model, and then knowing how to market the model. If you don't have the methodology, the model, and the marketing all lined up, all three, it doesn't go anywhere, and no one knows to find you, no one knows to hire you, and no one knows to pay you, so the dream dies, and I wouldn't want that to happen. Now, what I was going to share with you, so I trust that's cool. What I want to share with you is, can you see the board? Is the angle okay? Yeah? Getting thumbs up from my camera expert. Is the metadynamics model that is very unique and is really catching on. So around the world, there is a model called the GROW model, and I think I've spoken about that before, and it's a really cool model, but it's used by everybody. One of the things I know from Marketing 101 is what everyone has a very low value. Everything that is mass is a discount. Everything that is unique and special is a premium. So I got thinking, because I was taught the GROW model the same as everybody I trained with, well, if we're all doing the same thing and offering the same service, what is unique about us and causes us to stand out? And I got the answer in a blinding flash of the obvious: absolutely nothing. There was nothing causing us to stand out. That was the first problem. The second problem I realized was, I'd say to a lot of coaches, I've trained thousands, so what's your unique point of difference? Oh, I'll tailor make the coaching package. That's actually not a unique point of difference, because every coach is saying, I will tailor make the coaching for the client. So the moment everyone's doing it, no one can value it. So it got me thinking, so what can we do for our students? And this has worked so well. When we get to the webinar, I'll share you some great success stories around this. What can we give our students, our participants who are part of our program, something that's so unique that it stands out, it separates itself from the masses, it is immediately desired by whoever hears about it. Because here's the second problem in the coaching industry, and I think I touched on this in a previous video. When you come to a client, the client says, okay, let's go. The coach, if they're untrained in this method, will tend to say, yeah, what do you want to focus on? And the client goes, well, I don't know, I just know stuff's not working. And then the coach who's not trained in this will say, well, what would you like to do about it? And the client goes, I don't know, it's why I thought I had you. That type of old school coaching is not nearly as effective in terms of becoming successful for you and your client as what I'm about to show you, which is the Metadynamics ESIP model. This methodology, when you place it with a client, and I'll go through it in a little bit more detail in the class given our time, and I'll hopefully share with it in a way that's cool for you today. Actually, what I'll do is I'll do this and I'll put together a PDF. When you come along to the class, can you remind me I said that? And I'll make sure you get the PDF sent out to you. So it'll explain all these bits. It will give you a lot more background than what I can do in the time we've got together. So this model, when you give it to a client, it gives them a framework from which to approach their challenge or the goal they want to set or the mindset they want to change. It's a pretty simple model, incredibly effective. Every organization and business I've taken this into, every individual I've worked with now has rolled this model out throughout their entire organization. If they're a leader, they're using it with their teams. Marketers are using it. It's effective in every single environment, every single scenario. So the environment, E is for environment. I won't keep writing. S is for structure. Now that'll do. I is for implementation, and P is for people. I wrote the whole word for the last one. Now, it's a 4-dimensional model. So the GROW model just focuses on one, which is implementation. What is it you want to do? How are you going to do it? What are you going to commit to? When will you have it done by? It just focuses on the one. The moment we open it up to all four, more opportunities around thinking and approach present themselves. It's the difference between linear thinking and convergent and divergent thinking. It's the difference between thinking narrowly and thinking very broadly about the possibilities and opportunities. So it's something you can use straight away, just in your next conversation, if you're with a colleague or with someone who would consider a conversation like this cool. So maybe not your kids, maybe you would, but I'll leave it to you. But people who would appreciate this conversation, ask them questions around each of these 4 levels. And I'll give you some questions now. Environment questions are, what is it that you're wanting to achieve? What is the outcome you're shooting for? What matters to you? That's the first question around this. The second question around this is, and there are a number of questions around each of these, and I'll do much as I can now. We'll do more on the class. As I said, I'll send the PDF to you. Remind me to ask me for that. Another question about environment is, what is it you value about this? By asking that question, we're getting behind the scenes around the thinking. We're getting clarity around what is important to this person. And with them getting clarity, when they realize why it matters, they're going to be more inspired to move towards it. If we just ask a growth model question, is it, what do you want to achieve? That's it. There's no questions around values. There's no behind the scenes. What matters to you is just, what's your goal? That's the G. Where are you at now? What could you do? Options. W, way forward. What will you commit to doing? What's your way forward? That's it. It's all it offers. Whereas this is more of an exploration of here. There's a great saying that says the most valuable real estate is not your home, it's the real estate between your ears. That if we can help this thinking, then the results are going to flow and grow. So what is it that matters about this to you? What do you care about around this? Is it to feel connection? Is it to feel successful? Is it to feel fulfillment, more meaning? Is it to feel a sense of community where you are belonging to something that's bigger and better than when you're alone? Is it a sense of significance that comes through making a contribution? And there's a whole bunch of questions you can ask around this that will just cause the person pause and to think about why this really matters. And sometimes through doing this, the realization is this matters more than anything. This really has to happen. And there's amazing results can come from that. The next question, which is definitely not covered in the growth model, is the structural questions. What are the resources you have available to you? And what resources do you need? And how do we need to best align them for the achievement of your goal? For example, if it's coach training, my purpose is to serve others. The meaning I give it, why it matters to me, is because by making a difference to others, I feel fulfilled. My success comes through service to others. Structurally, what do you have in place? I have a coach training, I have resources, I have books I'm prepared to read, I have manuals that I study, an online program, so that's the structure. And the moment these two align, these two become so much easier. And what I should do, I'll go the whole way with the class. If you draw a line there, these above the line elements, these are the ones where there's real impact. The below the line elements are pretty well caused by how thoroughly these are in place. So the more effort and time and focus you put to these two, the more easily, I can say that, these can roll out. So implementation, what is it as a result of all of this you're prepared to do? And now we can insert the grow model and it fits in perfectly there and just ask some grow model questions. Okay, what is you prepared to commit to? Which of these options do you like? Which ones will you do? Great. And then the people one is, this is my favorite one. What is it you've learned from this process so the next time we approach this, we can improve and generate new learnings? So the whole model becomes generative in nature. This is very tactical, very transitory. It's like, what are we going to do? Have we done it? Great, next. This multidimensional model allows us to reflect on what were the key learnings for us, for the people involved in it. If you're doing your own, what was my key learning that I can apply next time to improve my environment, my culture, my mindset, my attitude, my beliefs, my values, so that I can keep generating improvements. It becomes a very generative model. There's space below here for you to write in your Facebook comments, and I can see some great comments appearing already. I would love to hear from you, your thoughts on this model. If you're already using it and you're one of my current clients, I'd love to know the success you're having with it. I've had some amazing stories shared with me from clients using this model all around the world. If you've got some questions about the model, type them in there and remind me when we come on to the webinar tomorrow about what I said I'm going to give you, which is a PDF with the entire, this model has been turned into the DARE coaching session. So I'm happy to give that to you as a gift. You can just remind me I said that and I'll do that at the end. And that's it. So type in your comments. We're going to be ready for you tomorrow. Looking forward to a great class. I'm not going to call it a webinar. I'm going to call it a live training. I'm going to have a go at the technology bit where I'm going to be live on the screen for part of it so you can see me as we're doing Q&A. And I'm just going to do 45 minutes of content, show you how you can get involved in what we're doing even more if you'd love to do that from wherever you are in the world. And I see there's people registering from all around the world, which is wonderful. And then I'm just going to stay and keep answering questions for as long as you're getting value and as long as I can serve. So we can spend some really great quality time together. I look forward to seeing you.